Welcome back to the English Daily Podcast. Today we are talking about the psychology of complaining. At first, this topic may sound negative, but it is actually very useful for English learners and for daily life. Everyone complains sometimes. We complain about traffic, slow internet, long lines, bad weather, or noisy neighbors. But why do people complain, and when is complaining helpful instead of harmful? Jake, do you think complaining is always a bad habit, or can it sometimes serve a purpose?
I think it can definitely serve a purpose. Complaining is not always just about negativity. In many cases, it is a form of communication. It tells other people that something feels unfair, uncomfortable, disappointing, or frustrating. Frustrating is a great word for learners. It describes a situation that makes you feel annoyed because you cannot easily change it or solve it. For example, a frustrating train delay can ruin your schedule. A complaint can also be a request for improvement. If a customer says the hotel room is dirty, that complaint gives the staff a chance to fix the problem.
That is a really important distinction. There is a difference between complaining to create change and complaining just to spread bad feelings. Let us build some vocabulary right away. The verb complain means to say that you are unhappy or dissatisfied about something. Dissatisfied means not pleased with a result, service, or situation. The noun is complaint. You can say, I made a complaint to the airline, or my complaint was about the noise. Another useful phrase is to vent. When you vent, you express strong feelings, usually to release stress. People often vent after a difficult day at work.
And venting can feel good in a moment because it gives emotional release. Release means letting something out. But here is where psychology becomes interesting. Some researchers say that repeated negative talk can strengthen negative thinking. In other words, if we complain all the time, our brain may become quicker at noticing what is wrong instead of what is useful, beautiful, or possible. A useful expression is to focus on the downside. The downside is the negative part of a situation. If somebody always focuses on the downside, they may miss opportunities, solutions, or even simple moments of enjoyment.
So complaining can be both natural and risky. I think listeners will recognize that feeling. You tell one friend about a problem, then another friend, then maybe you replay the story again in your own head. Replay here means to think about the same event again and again. That process is sometimes called rumination. Rumination means continuously thinking about the same upsetting issue without moving toward action. It is a very useful academic word, and you may hear it in psychology discussions. Rumination is different from reflection. Reflection can help you learn. Rumination often keeps you stuck.
Exactly. Reflection asks, what happened, what can I learn, and what should I do next? Rumination asks the same painful question again and again without progress. This is why the intention behind a complaint matters. Intention means the purpose or goal behind an action. If your intention is clarity, a complaint may help. If your intention is only to repeat anger, then the conversation may become heavy and unproductive. Unproductive means not leading to useful results. For English learners, that word is valuable in work situations too. You can say, this meeting is becoming unproductive, so let us return to the main issue.
Let us talk about social complaining, because people often complain to connect with others. Two coworkers might say the office coffee is terrible, or two students may complain about homework. In these moments, complaining can create a feeling of shared experience. Shared means held in common by more than one person. It can make people feel understood. But there is also a danger. If a friendship is built only on complaining, the relationship may start to feel emotionally tiring. Tiring does not only describe physical exhaustion. It can also describe interactions that drain your energy.
That is so true. There is even a phrase, misery loves company. It means unhappy people sometimes want others to join them in that unhappiness. Of course, friendship includes support, and support is healthy. But constant negativity can spread through a group almost like a mood virus. If one person complains with strong emotion, other people may start feeling irritated too. Irritated means slightly angry or bothered. A practical tip for learners is to notice the difference between supportive language and contagious negativity. Supportive language sounds like, that sounds hard. What can you do next? Negative group complaining sounds like, everything is awful and nothing will ever improve.
I like that comparison because it gives listeners language they can actually use. Sometimes the smartest response to a complaint is not immediate agreement. It is a gentle question. You can ask, do you want advice, or do you just need me to listen? That question is simple, polite, and emotionally intelligent. Emotionally intelligent means aware of feelings and able to respond wisely. You can also ask, what outcome are you hoping for? Outcome means result. These questions move the speaker from pure emotion toward clearer thinking. They also help avoid misunderstanding in conversations with friends, family, or coworkers.
Now let us look at complaining in customer service, because this is very practical English. A good complaint is usually specific, calm, and solution-focused. Specific means clear and detailed. Instead of saying, this place is terrible, you can say, my order arrived 30 minutes late and one item was missing. That version is easier to understand and easier to solve. A very useful phrase is, I would like to raise a concern. To raise a concern means to politely bring attention to a problem. It sounds more professional than simply saying, I want to complain.
Yes, and tone matters a lot. Tone means the feeling or attitude carried by your words. If your tone is aggressive, even a reasonable complaint can be ignored or resisted. If your tone is firm but respectful, people are more likely to help. Listeners can practice sentences like, I am afraid there has been a mistake, I was expecting something different, or could you help me resolve this issue? Resolve means solve successfully. That is excellent customer service vocabulary, but it also works in workplaces, schools, and apartment buildings when you need to discuss a problem clearly.
Another interesting point is cultural difference. In some cultures, direct complaints are common and seen as honest. In others, direct complaints may sound rude, so people use softer language. Softer language includes phrases like, I was wondering if, it seems that, or perhaps there is a small problem with. These phrases reduce the emotional pressure of the message. This matters because grammar alone is not enough. You also need pragmatic skill, which means practical communication in real social situations.
That connects to workplace communication too. Complaining at work can damage your reputation if it becomes a pattern. Reputation means what other people generally think about your character or behavior. If you always complain but never offer ideas, people may see you as negative. But if you identify a problem and suggest an improvement, you may be seen as thoughtful and responsible. Here is a useful structure: state the issue, explain the impact, and suggest a next step. For example, the reporting system is slow, it delays the team, and I think we should test a simpler process.
I love that structure because it transforms emotion into action. Transform means change from one form into another. We can even give listeners a simple formula. First, describe the fact. Second, describe the effect. Third, ask for a solution. For example, the classroom air conditioner has not worked for 3 days. It is making it hard to concentrate. Could someone check it this afternoon? That sounds much stronger than angry general statements. Notice the word concentrate. It means to give your attention fully to something. Useful complaints often protect concentration, comfort, fairness, safety, or time.
Let us also mention self-awareness. Self-awareness means understanding your own emotions and reactions. Before complaining, pause and ask yourself a few questions. Am I tired, hungry, or stressed? Is this a real problem or a temporary mood? Do I want sympathy, a solution, or simply a moment to breathe? When we become more self-aware, we complain more skillfully. We stop treating every inconvenience like a disaster. Inconvenience means a small problem that causes difficulty but is not serious.
That is a powerful point. Not every inconvenience deserves full emotional energy. Sometimes the healthiest response is to let something go. That means stopping your grip on anger or disappointment. It does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means choosing your battles wisely, or deciding which problems are truly worth your time and effort. If your coffee is a little cold, maybe you move on. If your bank makes the same error 3 times, that is probably worth addressing directly.
For English practice, try making 2 versions of the same complaint. First, say it in an emotional way. Second, say it in a calm and effective way. For example, this app is impossible and I hate it. Then improve it by saying, I am having trouble using this app because the instructions are unclear. Could you show me the first step? This exercise helps you learn vocabulary, tone, and problem-solving language at the same time.
You can also practice response language, because one day you will be the listener, not the complainer. Helpful responses include, that sounds frustrating, I can see why you are upset, let us think about what might help, or do you want me to just listen or help you solve it? Those responses show empathy without automatically adding more negativity. Empathy means the ability to understand another person's feelings. It is one of the most valuable communication skills in any language. When people feel heard, they often become calmer and more open to solutions.
Before we finish, let us recap the key points from today. Complaining is a normal human behavior, but it can lead in different directions. It can be useful when it is specific, respectful, and connected to action. It can become harmful when it turns into rumination, spreads negativity, or becomes a daily habit with no purpose. We talked about vocabulary like dissatisfied, vent, release, downside, rumination, intention, unproductive, outcome, tone, resolve, pragmatic, reputation, self-awareness, inconvenience, and empathy. These are excellent words for both everyday English and more advanced conversation.
And here is the big takeaway. Do not ask only, is complaining good or bad? Ask, what is this complaint trying to do? If it helps solve a problem, protect your time, or communicate a real need, it can be healthy. If it keeps you stuck or spreads stress to everyone around you, it may be time to change your approach. Thanks for listening to the English Daily Podcast. If this episode helped you, subscribe and come back for more practical English, useful vocabulary, and natural conversation. We will see you next time.